Hey United, welcome back to Mathematics. We're continuing in our earning money topic with our next lesson. Starting off with a flashback from the previous video, we have a pay slip here where we have the total amount paid, we have the number of normal hours worked and the number of overtime hours worked at time and a half pay, total hours worked, and the question is find the hourly rate of pay which is hidden by this thumb here. Okay, so you have the total pay and you've got the hours. You want to try and figure out what the hourly wage is. See if you can figure it out. Okay, so the trick here is that we don't want to do $291.20 divided by 24 because even though we've worked 24 hours, 4 of those hours were at time and a half wages. So I want you to think to yourself, if you worked 4 hours but you were paying time and a half, how many hours are they actually going to pay you for? Well, 1.5 lots of 4 is going to give you 6. So you're going to work 4 hours, but they're going to pay you for 6 hours. So our total hours worked is 24, but our total hours paid is going to be 26. Okay, so 4 hours of time and a half, like I said, is 6 hours paid. So we do 20 normal hours, we do our 6 time and a half hours, and so we have 26 in total. Then we do $291.20 divided by 26. We get an hourly wage of $11.20. All right, so there's our hourly wage. All right, so today's lesson is on commission and leave loading. So once again, before we do some maths, we're just gonna have a quick look at what those terms mean, make sure we're all aware. Okay, so first things first, commission. So commission is when your income is dependent on the amount that you are making, usually for salesmen. So for example, real estate agents, if they sell a property, a certain percentage of that property's value, which will be maybe like 2 or 3%, would pay to them for the service of selling the house. Okay, so a lot of salespeople, they might not get a regular wage or a regular salary. They may just be working purely based off commission. So question for you, is this a good thing or would you rather have a consistent salary? Well, the disadvantages is that your pay is going to be inconsistent, so it is harder to make a budget and sort of plan around your life because you aren't always going to be earning the same amount every fortnight. It's going to depend on how much money you are selling. So a reason why this could be good is because, of course, if you work better, it encourages higher performance because the more you sell, the more you earn. So it is inconsistent, it is unreliable, but if you work hard, it is a way to make more money than you would normally. Okay, next thing we want to talk about is leave loading. So a lot of full-time workers, when they take their annual leave for the year, so you may get 4 years off each year, but you'd still be paid. A lot of full-time workers actually earn more money when they are on holiday. So for example, a lot of full-time workers during their 4 weeks of annual leave, they'll be paid an extra 17.5% of their original salary. Okay, this extra increase in the salary is called leave loading. So next question for you guys is, why do you think we would pay people more to go on holiday? Why would you need more money when you're on holiday? Well, one answer is because holidays are expensive and a lot of people need more money when they're on holiday because you want to buy cool stuff, yeah? Another reason is that a lot of full-time workers, they have their base salary, but then on top of that, they have their overtime hours. But you have to think, when you're on holiday, you can't be working more hours because you aren't working. So because when you're on annual leave, you can't work overtime and you can't earn those bonuses, the way that's sort of remunerated is with the overtime leave loading. Okay, so one reason is because holidays are expensive. Another reason is because of potential overtime being missed out on. Okay, let's do some maths. So first example, we have Nash who owns a real estate agency. And just down here in the right corner is what every real estate agent in the world looks like. We've got the following commission rates sold on properties. So for the first $200,000 of the property's value, Nash is going to be paid 5% of that. Okay, for the next 150, so up to $350,000, the 150 up there is going to be 3%, and then anything beyond $350,000, he's going to be paid 2% of the value. So the question is, how much would the agency charge for selling a property worth $730,000? Okay, so we know we're going to be paying 5% of the first 200. We're going to pay 3% of the next 150. But then how much more money do we have after 350 that gets us up to 730? Well, if we do 730, take away 350, we'll get 380. So we're going to split our $730,000 property value into 200,000 plus 150,000 plus the remaining 380,000. Now we've done that, we've split it up and we can find 5% of this first number. We can find 3% of the middle number and the rest of the value up to 730 we're going to charge 2%. So we'll do our calculations now. 5% of this, 3% of this, and 2% of this. Feed that through our calculator and we should get a final answer of $22,100. Okay, so out of the property's value, that's how much is being paid to the real estate agent to sell and market the property. Okay, sweet. Up next, we have Tennille, who is a scientist earning a yearly salary of $127,000, $127,504. We have her annual leave loading, like I said, is 17.5% of 4 weeks' pay. So first thing we're going to calculate is her leave loading amount each week. Okay, so the leave loading, as we mentioned, is the increase in your pay for every week you're on holiday. So first question is asking us, how much extra is Tennille going to be paid each week when she is on annual leave? So first thing we need to find is how much Tennille would normally earn each week. So we're going to divide our annual salary by 52. Okay, if we divide our annual salary, we get a weekly pay of $2,452. Okay, now to find the leave loading amount, we're going to find the increase. So we need to find 17.5% of 2,452. So we will multiply those. We get an answer of about $429.10. Okay, so this number right here is how much extra money Tennille is going to have to spend each week on holiday because she's having leave loading. Okay, question B is asking us for Tennille's total holiday pay for the 4 weeks. Okay, so holiday pay is your original paycheck plus the leave loading extra. So we have the leave loading, we're going to add this to our weekly pay, and that's going to be our weekly holiday pay. Okay, the original plus the increase. So we do 2452 plus the 42910 from question A. Now that's going to be our weekly holiday pay. The question has said the total holiday pay for 4 weeks, so we're going to multiply this by 4. Gets us a final answer of around $11,524.40. And that's important information because that's going to go in your budget of your holiday. You know, over the 4 weeks, you'll have this much going into your account, so you've got that much more money to factor into your activities and accommodation and stuff. So yeah, there you go. Okay, up next we got example 3. This is another commission example. We have Cooper, who is a TV salesman, and he's offered 2 methods of earning income. So we can pick between these two. Option 1 is that he's going to get 13% of all sales back to him as commission. Method 2 has a lower rate of commission. For method 2, he'll only get 4.5% of all his sales back. However, he's always going to get a base rate of $350 per week. So you see this a lot in salesmen. This base salary is what's called a retainer. It's usually a small amount of money that you get paid each week regardless. So you know that if you have a bad week, you're not going to earn no money, you'll earn something. So we want to figure out which one of these two options is better for Cooper, given that his predicted average monthly sales is $15,670. So using this estimate for how much we're going to sell each month, we're going to find which of these two methods is going to be better for Cooper over a year. All right, so let's look at method 1. Method 1 is we're going to earn 13% of $15,670, and that's going to happen every single month. Okay, so we do 13%, we multiply by 15,670, that gets us $2,037.10. So out of the 15.5 grand, he's being paid $2,000 as commission each month. So again, we are comparing annual salary, so we'll take our monthly figure and we will multiply it by 12, and we'll get Cooper's annual salary of $24,445.20. So there's option 1. We'll keep that number aside and we're going to calculate method 2 and we're going to compare them. So we're just going to write that up here for method 1. Okay, method 2, we're going to do our commission calculations again, this time using 4.5%. Then we're also going to factor in $350 each week as a base retainer, like we said. Okay, so here's our commission. We're doing 4.5% of our monthly sales. We get a smaller figure of $705.15. Once again, this is monthly sales figures, so to get a expression for the yearly sales figures, we'll multiply this by 12 like we did before. So his total commission for the year will be $8,461.80. However, we're also including our $350 per week as the base retainer. So because that's weekly, we're going to multiply 350 by 52. We get an answer of $18,200. So both these figures are what Cooper is going to earn. So we're just going to combine them to get our total salary for method 2. So $18,200 plus 846,180 gets us a final answer of $26,661.80, which comparing to method 1 is a high figure, so he's making more money, so it's a much better option. It's also a better option because, like I said, if his predictions are off and if he has a bad month where he doesn't make much sales, he'll still be getting $350 per week regardless. So method 2 is a much safer option, and given his predicted sales figures, it's the smarter option. Okay, let's move on to a couple of challenge questions to finish off, because those questions, while they're sort of tricky, they're not super tricky. So here's our first one. We have Mason selling luxury cars and he's earning 1.5% commission on all of his sales. Last year, Mason was paid $262,500. What was the average weekly sales made by Mason last year? Okay, so for this question, I've told you that he's earning 1.5% commission, and I've told you what he's earning. And you need to be able to work backwards to figure out what his sales are. If you think you can do it, pause the video and see if you can beat me to the answer. Okay, so we know 1.5% of his sales for the year is going to get him his commission, which the question has already told us is $262,500. So here we have an equation that we want to solve for sales. So if we think about this as something times X, how do we usually get rid of the something times? Well, we're smart and we work backwards and we do a division. So we're going to do sales is equal to 262,500 divided by 1.5%. This is straight away going to give us our answer, a pretty large number of $17.5 million. Okay, so working backwards, he's sold this amount of cars. 1.5% of this number is equal to 262,500. Whatever method you used, if you got that same number, you did really well, so good on you. Let's try another one. Oh, pardon me, the question was asking for average weekly sales. I didn't read it correctly, so we've got to finish it off. We've got to divide his yearly sales by 52 to get our final answer of 336,538.46. There you go, coolly. All right, last one. We have during her 4-week holiday, Charlotte earns 17.5% annual leave loading. Charlotte's total holiday pay was $8,554. So that's the total money that she's earned in 4 weeks. Find how much you would earn in a fortnight when not on holiday. Okay, so this question wants us to go from holiday pay back to regular pay, which is pretty challenging. Once again, if you're feeling confident, pause and have a go if you'd like. Otherwise, let's work through it together. Okay, so first things first, let's take our holiday pay, and the question mentioned it was a 4-week holiday. So we'll take this figure and we'll divide it by 4, and this is how much Charlotte is being paid each week while on holiday. Okay? All right, so next part. So this figure here, this is 117.5% of Charlotte's salary, okay? Because we've taken the original amount, which was 100%, and we've increased it by 17.5%, okay? So your holiday pay is 117.5% of your original pay. Now, we don't want 117.5%, we want 100%. We want to go back to the original, okay? The way we're going to do this is what's called the unitary method. It's something we did way back at the start of year 9, so you may have forgotten, which is okay. What we're going to do is divide both sides by 117.5. The reason we're doing that is because on the right hand side, 117.5% divided by 117.5 gets you 1. Okay, any number divided by itself is 1, so the right hand side will be 1%. On the left hand side, 213,850 divided by 117.5, that gets us $18.20. Okay, this tells us that 1% of what Charlotte usually earns in a week is $18.20. So how are we going to get 100%? Well, we're going to take both sides and we're going to multiply by 100. Okay, so 1 times 100 is 100%. If we times the left-hand side by 100, we get 1,820. Okay, so to finish the question wanted us to find the regular fortnightly pay. So we take our weekly pay, which we just figured out, and we multiply it by 2. Okay, so this process of going from 117.5% down to 1%, up to 100%, that's what's called the unitary method. Okay, it's an easy way to go between two percentages because going from this one to this one directly is pretty tough. If you take the scenic route through 1%, it makes it a bit easier in my opinion. So this is a method that you can use if you like. All right, that's going to do it for today's lesson. You guys can rip into these practice questions up on the Google Classroom and let me know if you need a hand. Thank you for watching. See you next time.